Hello there. Since I have been learning Godot and I have published my first project, King's Lost Crown, you can check it out in the description on my itch.io page, I wanted to create something else. And this time, something which will be beneficial for my future projects. So, what is better than a basic game for a beginner, like a snake game? But it was a bad luck for me since I have already created one with my Pi game on Python. So this time, I want to create the classical Pong, but with a twist, which must have been used in one way or another by any more other creative programmer. So anyways, I opened my Trello board and started creating the basic layout of the game. This video is not sponsored, why would someone sponsor me? But yeah, I use Trello for managing my all the tasks which I'll be using or doing. So I decided to add some random effects / powers which will do various operations for a particular time. This will help me learn more about the effects for the game. Now, I'll be needing to add a timer for this too, which will ultimately help me implement the timing function also. Creating the tasks, I hopped in Godot and created the basic prototypes. First, I made the ball, which will be moving when the game starts, and then the two players. Currently, these players are controlled by WASD, basically W and S for up and down, and arrow keys for player 1 and player 2 respectively. After creating the prototypes, I went on to LostPack, a cool website for choosing a color palette, and I chose my color palette for the game. Since this game does not require any complex graphics, I choose the basic 2 color palette, and thus I hopped into Photoshop, did some photoshopping, and used my 2 brain cells which were left to create the basic art for the game. It was now time to create our basic Pong without effects, because at least this should be working, alright. So I fixed the border for the ball and players because they keep going out of the screen, and added the bounce mechanic. For changing speed of the ball and more future functions, I implemented a streak counter, which was basically score of how much our ball has been bounced back by the players. Now, it was time for the part I feared, or you can say I was not ready yet but pretty excited to use my last brain cells, which were power up. Adding power-ups was definitely easy. Yeah, I guess definitely isn't the right word, definitely not easy. I tried to pop out the power-up element after a particular streak, like at 5 seconds. After every 5 streak, the new power-up position will be added, and it definitely worked. So later on, I fixed the issue by creating a new variable lock, which I've been using from my various Pi game projects, where it basically serves as a boolean variable with the conditions which will pass through it when it is true or false respectively. So this was now time to add the properties which will come into play when the ball interacts with the power up. Since the players should know about the time of their power, I had to add the timer also. So I read the document of the timer in Godot and used it. Each power up is 10 seconds long, and it took a bit of time, but in the end, timer was a success. The properties I added in the game was basically speed increase, decrease, and size increase were the basic properties which I added in this game, and which will be available for the player on the screen for 10 seconds. Now it was time to add a different theme, which was title screen, game over screen, and how to play screen, because without that our game is not yet complete. So I did my thing, added buttons, created screen, and boom, the game is ready. It was time for the hardest thing to do, for me at least, that was music. Since I have negative skill in my music field, so I used some royalty free copyright music from Kenny and other sites which provide such helpful assets. God bless them. In this project, for the background sound, I used the music which was already uploaded by this talented creator Mayra. The link will be of their profile in the description, you can check it out. So I used their song for our game, and the basic other sound effects were used from the Kenny website. After doing a little magic and definitely not spending the next 2 hours trying to figure out how to add the music the way I want, our Pong-O-Twist is done. The game is available on itch.io, you can play it there. It's not really good, but for the basic beginning, I guess it's pretty good for me. Now I'll have to level up and create more things. So this time now I'll have to sit back and analyze what I've learned in this project. So there were basically 2 things which I can grab what I have learned. which was the first. I learned more about Godot and became more friendly with it. The UI, GDScript and basic tools are now really understandable and comparatively easier to use by the last time I used King's Lost Crown. The second was I learned how to implement the timer and add effects for my players in the games. So now I'm ready to create more projects with new things for learning. By making mini games as my projects with different attributes and functions, it will be easier and fun to learn new things. I'll see you in my next video with either a challenge for myself or another minigame. By the way, I had uploaded a tutorial on making mini screens, so you can check it out on my channel. The link will be in the description, or you can check out from above in the card. And we'll see you in the next video. If you have any recommendation, comment or anything which you want to talk about, you can either contact me on Twitter or in the comment section is always there, so feel free to comment out. Make sure to like the video if you like what I'm doing, and like again if you don't like what I'm doing, that dislike, no, leave the dislike, just like. And if you want to keep track of what I'm doing, so subscribe, and then stay safe. Peace out.